Hello, everyone. Welcome to JBS, Jersey Baseball Show, as we kick off 2022 with some outstanding features. And here we are talking with one of our favorites from a few years back. We're kind of catching up with Connor Donovan. Pennington prep, went off to Lehigh. Guy was so good that he was like the predecessor to Shohei Ohtani. All-Patriot League as a hitter, All-Patriot League as a pitcher senior year, actually All-Patriot League in both. And we're going to talk about that. And a lot more in his current job with Simon Quick Advisors, and how he helps guys now, make the transition to planning financially for their future. And welcome to the show, Connor, and good to see you.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks a lot for having me. It's always a pleasure. Always great catching up with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are coming to us live from a hotel room in Minnesota right now, right? So we had a great trip in California recently, and can't make it back home, and now you're stuck with all your warm weather clothes, right?
Yeah, -6 degrees out here in Minnesota. So just trying to power through, staying inside, and hoping not to get frostbite. So that's kind of that's the goal right now.
Life goals, right? Let's you're -6 degrees with all your golf shirts and summer clothes.
That's right.
So let's talk Lehigh baseball a little bit first. Your playing days. As I said, now a financial advisor with Simon Quick. I know you are actively working, and we're going to talk about it later because something that I always like to stress and talk about with younger guys is being responsible financially and getting ready for the future. But let's talk about your past. Establish you as you're kind of the Lehigh days, the All-Patriot League experience. I know you got to play in the NCAA tournament, but kind of looking back at your college career, which is now 5 years ago, what do we remember, and how do we look back at that time?
Yeah, time flies, really. It's crazy. It's been 5 years since I really played baseball because I think about it all the time and relive certain games and at bats and different innings pitched and whatnot. But, I look back very fondly at my time at Lehigh. Obviously, it was really cool winning the Patriot League my sophomore year, going down to play at LSU. That was a once in a lifetime experience. Just being on that team and being with the guys. Obviously, you make a lot of really great friends along the way, and still people that I keep in touch with a lot today. So, it was a lot of fun playing at Lehigh. It was a lot of fun achieving some personal achievements that I didn't even, think were possible, or even think heading into my time at Lehigh that I would be pitching and playing first base and DHing. In high school, obviously, is when you and I were close, and you would come to a lot of the Pennington games, and I was really a third baseman that would play a little bit of first base and would come in to pitch and throw nothing but fastballs and didn't have any other pitches or a sense of pitching or anything like that. So to leave college as, regarded as a pitcher more so than even a hitter in some ways is just something I never thought would really happen. So it was a lot of fun, got to experience a lot of different things, and being able to do both hitting and pitching at the collegiate level was a lot of fun.
So your senior year, first team offensive, right, as a DH, All-Patriot, second team as a starting pitcher, and like you said, you became a pitcher, not just a thrower. Pumping the high 80s in high school is dominating. Of course, now everybody's throwing in the high 90s in high school, but back then, but you obviously need to be able to become a pitcher to excel in college. But the fact that you did it in college, you two-wayed and did it at a high level. When you see like Shohei Ohtani, do you even more appreciate like how just ridiculous that talent is to be able to do it in the majors?
Yeah, definitely. He's my favorite player to watch.
Of course he is.
Yeah, I'm a huge Ohtani fan. Everyone that knows me knows I love Ohtani. We'll watch every game he pitches. We'll try to catch him on TV when I can as well, when he's DHing and batting leadoff or second or whatever they have him doing. But it's tough to do, and it's really tough to just mentally go from pitching to hitting, and seeing him do it where he's playing the field and coming into pitch, or pitching and then going to play right field. It's just a crazy, crazy change to be doing that. But in my opinion, I think doing both in college really helped me, especially on the pitching front. Because when I would hit, I would think about the pitchers that I hated facing and why I hated facing certain guys. And then I realized, kind of hit me later in my career, I'm like, I'm going to start doing all those things that I hate as a hitter. Let me do that as a pitcher. So, 2-0, here comes a curveball, here comes a changeup, messing with my tempo, kind of doing what, Marcus Stroman does a little bit of it, where he's kind of messing with his tempo a little bit from the windup. He's changing his looks from the stretch. He's doing a lot of things that just try to keep hitters off their timing. So I really started to implement a lot of that, and I think it helped me become more crafty as a pitcher and just kept hitters off balance a lot better. Because like you said, throwing mid to high 80s in high school is one thing, but when in college, it's really nothing special. It's not like I was blowing fastballs by people. It's not like I had dominating stuff. It was really just mentally knowing what I wanted to do going into a game and then executing on that game plan and just trying to keep hitters off balance. There's some games where first pitch I would start leadoff hitter. If I knew he was aggressive, I'd start him off with a changeup and throw 3 changeups in a row to a leadoff hitter. And that was just kind of my mindset, was throwing all my pitches early in the game. I was a reliever before being a starter, so I just wanted to kind of get everything out there and then find a way to make it work and put my team in a position where I think we could win the game. So it was a lot of fun, but watching Ohtani do it and watching his skill set where he's throwing 100 miles an hour and hitting 450-foot home runs is really special. I wasn't anywhere near that.
No, he probably would have been first team in both in the Patriots. What was and now just really quickly on the summer ball aspect, because obviously that's something important to us. You had some pretty cool experiences there, right? Getting the chance to play with your older brother Ryan, who Fairfield, right? So he had a lot of fun, I'm sure, last spring watching them dominate and go to the NCAAs and win a couple games and almost making regionals. But what was your favorite summer ball experience?
Yeah, I think it was that summer in Green Bay playing in the Northwoods League. And I really owe that to Ryan. He had played in the Northwoods League the year before, was on kind of a temporary contract, but did really well out there. And he was invited back the next year and was on kind of another temporary contract, but with Green Bay. They were looking for another roster spot, and they were looking for someone that was just a pitcher. And I'd thrown a little bit that year at Lehigh, but not a ton. So I went out there as just a pitcher, joined Ryan on a 10-game contract. And I think after the time that our temporary contract was over, he was leading the league in average home runs and RBIs, and I was leading the league in ERA and appearances out of the bullpen. So it was kind of like, a no-brainer at the time to just extend us for the full summer. But just being out there and playing against some of the top college players in the country, and playing with some of the top players in the country, I learned so much from just my teammates, learning different grips for pitches, learning how to approach different hitters and whatnot. And it was a great summer. And honestly, some of my best friends that I have to this day, I met out in Green Bay that summer, living with the host family and doing all that. So it's kind of a once in a lifetime experience. And it's something that really helped me a lot going back to Lehigh and just learning how to pitch instead of just, throwing, and learning how to get ready to pitch and getting to a routine, because out there as a reliever, you play 75 games, and I think I had 30 appearances out of the bullpen. So you're basically pitching every other game. So how do you get your body ready for that? I was throwing a lot of flat grounds, was really working on just locating pitches, worked on a changeup, learned how to throw a slider, a curveball, and it's it was a great opportunity for me to learn and really just get better.
Now the college is over, and as you said before we went on here, you've now been in the real adult world, working world, longer than your college career, which is kind of crazy at this point, because you're still young in my mind. You're still that high school kid in my mind, which probably an issue with me more than you are. But you made the transition pretty quickly into the financial world after college. What was it? Why was that important to you, and why that direction? And tell us what you're doing now.
hmm Yeah, I work for a wealth management firm called Simon Quick Advisors. And For me, I think that out of college, I was really unsure of what direction I wanted to head in. I was a finance major at Lehigh, always had kind of an interest in financial markets, always liked to track the stock market, and was always kind of interested in that. And I think a lot of that came from my family, and my mom being in the financial services industry had always kind of just got me interested in it, going to the, take your son to work day and being able to talk to her employees when I was little, and always just kind of thought it was interesting work. But coming out of college, what really appealed to me about Simon Quick is that they gave me the opportunity to go through a rotational program where I spent time learning on the operations side, on the investment research side, and on the client advisory side. And being a college baseball player and playing baseball every summer, I never really had a lot of internship experience. So to walk into an environment like that where I was able to learn kind of from the ground up and learn about the industry and, learn every aspect of the business right away was really beneficial to me. And I also really liked the culture of the company. It's a lot of former athletes. It's a lot of, you know, being in front of people and being personable and talking to different clients and really getting to know them and getting to know their families and really getting to know what they're looking for and how they can best be served. So for me, I saw a lot of kind of parallels between working at Simon Quick and in the wealth management industry and in the baseball world, where it was you're working on a team, you're working to support each other. It's all about you're not competing against one another or anything like that. It's all about how best can we serve our clients. What is the what can we learn from other people on the team based on prior experiences? How can we what type of resources do we need to best serve clients? How can we expand and grow as a firm? And that's really the stage that I saw Simon Quick was in. And just since I joined back in 2017, I think the company's grown by probably 80% since then. I was probably the 30 or 40th employee, and now I think we have 75 or so in employees. So it's been a really cool company to be a part of, and I've really enjoyed just kind of the work that we've been doing for clients.
Who would this appeal to?
Yeah, I think it definitely appeals to someone that wants to be surrounded by people. They want to go out and meet clients and have that personality where they're always kind of talking to people and looking for ways to best serve clients and looking for, introductions to different prospects or just kind of learn about clients and actually take a genuine interest in people and their families and kind of what they want to accomplish. I would say it's also a job where no day is really the same based on whatever's going on in the world. It really impacts what your day to day looks like and what you're going to be talking to clients about and how you're going to be how you're going to best serve them. So someone that's willing to kind of be constantly learning, constantly adjusting, and really taking an interest in the people that they're working with. And then I would say finally, it's kind of a team player type mentality where just like being on a baseball team where everyone has their own role on the team, but ultimately you're really working together to accomplish the end goal of winning a championship. Very similar here where each member in the team has their own role that they're responsible for on a daily basis, and they need to communicate with other members of the team to make sure that they are accomplishing what they're responsible for, but also making sure that the end goal is in mind and making sure that they're still pushing toward that on a daily basis. So you really have to be a team player and be comfortable working with the team and communicating with the team on a daily basis. And it's been kind of unique in just the environment that we've been in for the last year plus now with COVID and working from home and all that. But mediums like this, like Zoom or Teams and all that, I'm on it constantly, just FaceTiming with people on my team and FaceTiming with clients and all of that, just to just to make sure that we are communicating regularly and working together and working to really accomplish whatever the end goal is.
what are a couple of tips that you would have for the young athlete, the college athlete, the just graduated, kind of like money sense things that we
Mhm.
probably don't know, but we definitely should.
Yeah, definitely have a few things because I was there, as you pointed out, I
Not
guess
that long
for
ago.
over 4 or 5 years ago now. But I was there not too long ago, and I was someone that at the time when I was in school, I was really focused on baseball and taking advantage of the opportunities I had in baseball and making sure that I was, the best baseball player I could be. Hence why I played summer ball and tried to play in the best summer leagues I could, and really prioritize some of that over the internships and some of the other things. So I think if I could go back and just give some advice to college baseball players or guys graduating now that are looking to start investing in the market or whatever the case is, I would say one is that time in the market is more important than timing the market. So getting invested early on is especially important. Just looking at if you look at the S&P 500 over time, the market goes up more than it goes down. We talk more about when the market goes down because typically when we do see that recession, it hits harder, but getting invested early on is just going to be more helpful over time. And even if it's just a little bit of money that you're able to put aside initially, getting that money to work is just going to help you whenever you look to, look down the road and look toward retirement or whatever it is in the future. I would also say that back in the day, I think that I thought that investing was a lot more complicated than it really is. I think I used to watch CNBC when I was in school, and I'd watch Jim Cramer giving his Mad Money picks and running around and talking about different stocks and their revenue and all of this. And I'm like, well, I haven't done any of this research. It can be kind of overwhelming when you're hearing this information, and if you're not tracking it on a daily basis, it just feels like you're an outsider and that you can't really get invested in the market. But to set up a brokerage account at somewhere like Schwab or Fidelity or whatever it is probably takes 3 to 5 minutes or so. And then really to just get invested in the market, it's really simple. You just move money from your bank account over to the brokerage account that you set up, and you could just start with an index fund like an ETF, like SPY to track the S&P 500, or a simple index fund that maybe Schwab or Fidelity has on their platform. So it's a simple process to get started. It doesn't have to be overly complicated. And if you are someone that enjoys kind of picking stocks or wants to invest in single name stocks, that's where things get a little bit more tricky. But on that front, I have talked to friends about this in the past. I've bought a few stocks myself, and it really just comes down to companies that I like, companies that I think will do well, and just based on my own personal experience. And it doesn't always work out. That's the risk you take with buying a single name stock. But a lot of the time, you don't have to do all of the research that you think goes into it. It can really be a lot more simplified. So I would say kind of keeping things simple, not overcomplicating things, and really starting with kind of just give some broad market exposure like an ETF, like the SPY index, something like that would make a lot of sense. But yeah, I would say another kind of tip I would say is really similar to baseball. How I always viewed things in baseball from a goal based system where you kind of go into each game thinking what you want to accomplish. You create a game plan for how you want to approach a certain team's lineup, or as a hitter, what you want to do going into a game. You want to hit the ball hard. You want to barrel up, the ball at 3 or 4 at bats or whatever it is. Um, Same goes for kind of the shorter term over the medium term. If you want to hit 300 for a season or have a 2 ERA or whatever the case is, same thing kind of goes with the financial planning and really looking at your goals and where you want to be in the near future and over the longer term. So looking at it, and if something on the horizon for you might be to buy a house or save up for an apartment or buy an engagement ring or whatever it is, um, making sure that you're creating a portfolio and also creating just kind of a financial plan that allows you to do so. So maybe investing in the market may not make the most sense if you're looking to have cash in the next 2 or 3 years, if you're looking for a major investment, or you're looking to put a down payment down on a house, or whatever the case is, looking for maybe something more conservative or shorter duration fixed income for the time being, where you're able to earn some money, but not have to sell out of the market at a time that may be inopportune based on whatever the market's doing. So looking at that and kind of planning for how you want to approach different events, and planning ahead for retirement, and planning for retirement early, I think is going to be really helpful in the long run. And there's a lot of different vehicles that can be beneficial to doing so. That's where it's probably helpful to talk to a financial advisor, or do some research, or whatever the case is, just to make sure that you're maximizing each of the goals that you have coming up.
It always helps to, I felt, have somebody that you can talk with who can look at things logically at all times and really help, because obviously when you're looking at your own portfolio, you tend to get a little more emotional about things, and kind of freak out over day to day, and you really can't in the investing world. But to have somebody help you with the long game and stay on track and stay on plan. If somebody watching this wants to get in touch with you, or how do they do that?
Yeah, they can reach out to me through my company's website, simonquickadvisors.com. You can find all my contact information on there. My email is cdonovan@simonquickadvisors.com. So, easy enough. But if they want to reach out via email, or whatever the case is, I'd always be happy to have a conversation with anyone. And like you said, it's not everyone is a great fit to be a client at Simon Quick, or may not make a lot of sense for some people. But if someone just wants to talk about their financial situation, and wants some tips, or wants a second set of eyes on things, like you mentioned, I'm always happy to have a conversation with anyone when it comes to that. So if they go to Simon Quick Advisors, they can learn more about the company, and can also track down my contact information, cell phone, email. I think all of that should be on there.
100%. We appreciate the time, Connor. Everybody out there, make sure you get plans, stay on plan, and be smart, and prepare yourself for the future. Always good to catch up and talk about some of the playing days.
Yeah, always great to catch up, Mike. Thanks a lot for your time. And it's been awesome just watching the work that you've done with the New Jersey baseball players. Kind of wish that you had this around when I was playing back at Pennington. We could have had some good good interviews back then.
So do I, but better late than never, right?
Yeah, exactly. No, awesome job. Keep up the great work.
Thank you, and stay warm out there for the next week or so, right? We know it's kind of brutal winters out there, but we look forward to having you back on the East Coast soon, and talk to you soon, Connor.
Awesome. All right, thank you.
That's it for this week. We will see you guys down the road, and look forward to catching you next time.